Hey YouTubers, this is Old John. I'm going to make a short video today on an article that I read. It's out of the Telegraph, which is a British newspaper to my knowledge, and it's an interesting topic for this article, which was done Monday 27th of October 2014. DIY is in decline because today's men are too soft. Well, as a DIY YouTube video preparer and watcher, I just think it's an interesting article and I want to make a few points on it. I think it raises some valid claims, but it was done with the Brits in mind, so I'm not sure if it completely applies to us Americans. But the headline, as it says, it's in decline because today's men are too soft. And maybe that's true in Britain, I don't know, but United States, I'm not so sure that it's that, whereas it's more related to men are busy. As a retired man and a former working man, I can tell you from my experience that it's easy to want to do these kind of do-it-yourself projects. The story leads with a man with looks like a saber saw in his hand, and it's just hard to find the time in today's world, especially in America. Now maybe in Europe we hear that Europe the 8-hour day is actually more than they normally work. They put in maybe 7 or less, and of that time they spend a lot of time around the water cooler. Now those may be rumors, I don't know, but in America we're pretty hard driving, hard working, unless you're working for government, and then that's a different situation. But for the majority of men working in the private sector, I think it's just a matter of being too tired and not having enough time to work when they get home. And you try to do it on the weekends and you just don't have the time, especially if you have a family. There's just not enough time to do it, and when you do it, you rush through it, which is the worst way to do a DIY. There's a saying, there's always time to do things twice, but never right the first time, and this so aptly applies when you try to do something, especially if you're not an expert at it, too quickly. But anyway, this article goes on to say that a few days ago the owners of Homebase announced they are close to a quarter of UK stores closing, a quarter of UK stores, because of the reality, they said, of a generation less skilled in DIY projects. This is a harsh obituary, and like I say, I'm not so sure that I believe this applies in the United States. It also says that part of this is because men are raised by women. I think there's some truth to that, but still I think even men, because I was raised primarily by a woman until I was a early teenager, there is some truth to that, because simply my mom did not do DIY. Of course, this was 50 some years ago, and she didn't have tools, so I didn't have access to tools, but I still like to try to do them. And I literally would take, when I wanted to saw a board in half, I didn't have a saw, I'd take a screwdriver, which she did have, and a hammer, and literally cut the board with a screwdriver and hammer. So it wasn't that I didn't want to do it and I was soft because I was being raised by a mom, I just didn't have the tools. This article also points out that more women are getting into DIY, and I think that's probably true, and I would hope that I orient my DIYs for you lady folks. If I don't, just let me know, because I think you're fully capable of doing a lot of DIY, just like us men, especially if you have the tools. And it seems like tools are being designed more, and I don't want to sound chauvinistic here, but they're lighter, so smaller, less strong individuals can use them. So I don't want to go more than this, but I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you want to watch this or read this yourselves. But it's, like I say, it's in the Telegraph, and it's from Monday 27th of October 2014, and it's entitled DIY is in decline because today's men are too soft. As traditional roles have changed, today's men are more like their mothers than their fathers. No wonder DIY is dying out, says Martin Dobney. So keep coming back for more, especially of my DIY if you're interested in my channel, Harrison 4803, and this is Old John signing out.